Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have an awesome figure to take a look at today as we have a brand new PNSO sauropod that has just recently released. We have Irma, the Mamenchisaurus, and look at the length on that figure. Even the length on the box is impressive. This is actually a new version of the Mamenchisaurus from PNSO. They have released a different version in the past, and I believe this is actually a different species of Mamenchisaurus, something that was pointed out from Everything Dinosaur, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. But what we can see here on the box is a really beautiful image of the Mamenchisaurus, and that's really it. There is just nothing taking your attention away from the pure beauty that is the Mamenchisaurus here on the front of the box. No logo, no species title, nothing like that. When we actually turn the box over here, take a look at the side, you can now see that it is a PNSO Dinosaur Museum Series figure. And of course, Irma the Mamenchisaurus, and the scale is 1/45th. And if we look over here, we have more information on PNSO and the people behind the model. And that's really about it as far as the box goes. So let's pop this open and check out our newest Mamenchisaurus. So something that I think is insanely cool and I've never seen from PNSO before is that as soon as you actually open the box, on the inside of the box is a really cool image of what we can see here of some sort of a leg and foot, and then behind it would be a very intimidated looking, I guess, Mamenchisaurus, or some sort of a baby Mamenchisaurus it almost looks like. But very cool to have that random little image here on the inside of the box. That's definitely very unique and different compared to previous PNSO releases. And then on top of that, we also have this, which you can see here, PNSO Dinosaur Museum Scientific Art Exhibit of Irma the Mamenchisaurus. So I'm very intrigued to see what exactly is inside here. We have another really cool PNSO logo back here, but generally it's a sticker right here that will pop open. I almost don't want to rip the sticker. Yes, I ripped a little bit. Oh well. So once we actually get that open, wow, there is a ton of stuff in here. Whoa, did not expect that at all. That's crazy, crazy awesome. So what do we have here? We have these, okay, so these are basically some blank canvases for you to draw on, to draw dinosaurs. That's pretty cool. And then, oh man, wow, that is just amazing. That is super cool. Okay, hold on, if I can get it to stand upright. Look at this beautiful image that is included in here. That is just honestly one of the most breathtaking things I think I've ever seen. Such a beautiful scene, fantastic artwork, probably some of the nicest artwork I've ever seen in my entire life. If I could just get it to stabilize a little bit, stay up a little better. I really, really want to get a frame and frame this one. That's definitely going to be going up on my wall because that is just incredible without a doubt. And then if I set this down, and I can tell already I'm going to have another image that I absolutely love. And whoa, I am not wrong. It doesn't want to open perfectly right now, but I am a huge fan of that kind of penciled, hand-drawn type of a look for, you know, dinosaur artwork, and that is just phenomenal. Look at how super cool that is. Yet another one that I absolutely want to get framed and put up on my wall. This is such a surprise. I had no idea that this stuff was all included with this release. Beautiful artwork yet again. And then it appears as though we potentially have even more here. Oh, there's just a ton of stuff in here. So we open this up and take a look at this artwork, and yet again, more phenomenal artwork. So that's 3 for 3 as far as stuff that I want to get framed. Look at that beautiful paint scheme on that Mamenchisaurus. I almost wish that PNSO had gone the route of giving this Mamenchisaurus this paint scheme. That is just beautiful. More incredible artwork. We've also got yet another piece of artwork here with an incredible shot of the head of a Mamenchisaurus. That, man, that is just like the most lifelike image you could possibly see. Pure beauty. Even more so on the part of this package. I'm so blown away by everything included in this. And then we've got more. Oh wow, this one is huge, absolutely massive. I really can't wait to see this. So we pull that open, and that is like one of the most beautiful things I think I've ever seen. This just gets better and better. Look at this. PNSO has overloaded us with an incredible amount of stuff in this box. This is certainly even more artwork that I want to display in a frame. My wall is apparently going to be filled with nothing but Mamenchisaurus after this. Man, and it's huge. Like, honestly, that is gigantic. It takes almost my entire review station. If I actually had stretched that out the entire way, it would certainly be longer than my review station as far as just this one poster right here. And then we have an awesome size chart here as well, just adding in even more awesomeness to this set. Also, it is huge, just like the last poster was. And then over here we can actually see exactly who we are looking at as far as the different species of Mamenchisaurus and, which colors were associated with which versions. And then we also have yet another gigantic poster. This is seriously insane. Okay, so even though it's not stretched out, you can basically get a good idea of what we are looking at here with this one. Yet another incredible, beautifully displayed Mamenchisaurus on this one as well. I am so blown away by this. It is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever acquired anything from PNSO that just had so much stuff crammed into it. And then, as it turns out, we have, yes, even more. And yet again, it is not exactly stretched out, but this time we actually have an Irma-specific Mamenchisaurus poster here. As you can see, everything that is on this, and that as well is absolutely awesome. So I think we might finally be done with all the super insanely awesome posters included, but we've got some more stuff here that we need to take a look at. If we open this up, it seems as though we've got like some art cards or something in here. So a beautiful Mamenchisaurus image right there. As we go through here, I think I just skipped one. Yes, I did. We have yet another fantastic image right there. Well, I actually skipped two. This thing is just loaded with unbelievable artwork, and seriously is some of the nicest artwork I have ever seen. It's insane that you get this much with this set, and I haven't even gotten to the dinosaur yet. Just tons and tons of stuff. It was like PNSO took a look at this and they were like, well, how much can we cram into here while still giving room for the dinosaur? That's really cool as well. And I think somebody was just like, yep, we can do that. And then they just overloaded us with tons and tons of stuff. This is so crazy. So much stuff. All kinds of very informative, very cool kind of like cards here. And we also have some more areas to kind of draw your own dinosaurs. I really like that as well. That's a pretty cool idea that I've never seen somebody really utilize or, put into any type of a dinosaur model type package, is the ability to kind of draw your own dinosaur and give you basically the blank canvas to do so. And then we also have even more information on Irma in this one. If we can open this up, because they're a little bit tricky at times. So once we pop that open there, you can see that we basically have a card here, if my camera would focus on it, there we go, with an introduction to Irma. And then as we go through, so basically it's just going to tell us a whole bunch of stuff about Irma here, which is definitely really fun. And I think that's, yes, so I don't want to show everything here. This is definitely a really fun thing that we would have to read, which I thoroughly plan on reading as soon as I am done this review, but I don't think now is the time to read this entire thing. But very cool that they've included this as well, giving you just a ton of information about the Mamenchisaurus. So on top of getting an awesome model and some incredible artwork, you get informed about the dinosaur itself on top of everything. And then finally we are at the booklet, and this is pretty much usually the only addition that you get to a PNSO set, but this one obviously sports a whole lot more than that. And you can see as we go through the booklet, we have lots of information. So we're just moving through. We've got now, if I actually position the camera a little bit better, we get a better shot of this, but you can see a really nice image there of the skull and some of the muscle. And we've got more information as we go through here. Continuing on with the booklet, just tons of information. So on top of all of those cards giving us information, we have tons of information in the actual booklet as well. I remember when PNSO had originally started and they would include these really cool booklets, and the booklets were actually only in Chinese. I was always like so blown away by the artwork, but sad that I couldn't really read anything in the booklets. And I love that they now have changed it so that we have the English version here that we can actually read, and you can see basically a sneak peek of our Mamenchisaurus right there, the model. Yet another sneak peek of said model, looking beautiful, just like we saw on the front of the box. Even more images of the model. So now we've basically got a photo shoot of our beautiful looking Mamenchisaurus. Even more information, which is actually giving us ideas as far as like the sizes of the posters and the frames and everything that you would need to kind of create your own, look at that, create your own Mamenchisaurus exhibit. That is so cool. That would be one heck of an incredibly awesome way to display this Mamenchisaurus and just kind of dedicate an entire wall to it. That is really cool, and I love that they actually kind of inform you of what you need to create that. And as you continue along, I don't want to go through the entire thing, as this has actually taken way longer than I expected. You just have so much stuff included in this booklet. So awesome on the part of PNSO. Actually, it's not even just awesome, it is beyond incredible as far as the value goes for the amount of stuff that was in here. That was just very unexpected, and a plethora of stuff included in here. And we are really quite far into this video, and we are just now getting to our Mamenchisaurus. Here is our Mamenchisaurus, and of course the Mamenchisaurus is really quite large, so large that we can't actually just fit it into the frame when the camera is just sitting there. But if we position it right here, and even though I have to hold it, you can definitely see how incredible the Mamenchisaurus looks. I love the sculpt, I love the paint job, really nice natural looking paint job from what I can see here, but I'm really intrigued to get a nice closer look at this. So without further ado, let's do that right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Mamenchisaurus, it looks really nice. You can see a very nice eye for our Mamenchisaurus, beautifully painted as well as glossed really nicely. You can pick up on the nostrils right here at the tip of the snout, and it even seems as though we can see the teeth in there sculpted out. The coloration is really nice. Like, I love nice dark tones of color for my sauropods. So the fact that this is a really nice dark gray, but also includes some nice variations of light grays and stuff, and overall has a really nice and realistic dark wash to it. It honestly looks perfect and extremely lifelike. As we start to run down the course of the neck, you can kind of see like a tiny little hint of hanging skin here in the throat, but moving down the course of the neck, you can see how beautiful the texturing to the skin is, as well as just how nice and naturally applied that gray is. When it comes to the dark gray here, transitioning to that lighter gray here on the underside, that is an insanely smooth transition, and the way that they've applied this nice wash really makes all of the detail of the skin pop so beautifully. The cracks and crevices just basically jump out at you, and the wash that is applied honestly makes it look like it has even more variation of color, and also just generally kind of gives the dinosaur a very dirty-like appearance, which is kind of what I would expect to see on a sauropod. But you can see that the actual skin texture and everything is just incredibly well done. As I'm turning it here in the light and just kind of running down the exceptionally long neck of our Mamenchisaurus, you can see how beautiful the scale detail is, not just the cracks and crevices within the skin that are obviously highlighted with that dark wash, but the actual scale detail itself is phenomenal, like really vibrant. And as we get down here into the body, once we reach the base of the neck, you can see some really nice creasing and wrinkling right there. You can also see some larger scales and stuff, almost osteoderm-like scales picking up throughout the back of the Mamenchisaurus. And yet again, that dark wash makes all of that detail pop so beautifully. You can see like some skin wrinkles right here, kind of showing the shoulder blade pushing into it as the dinosaur is walking along. And some more really nice creasing here as we get down further into the front leg, as well as that incredible looking paint application with the wash. I love the wash applied to this figure. You can see more beautiful creasing and stuff the further down we go. We do have a really nice elbow present right here. Moving down into the front foot here, even though it's a little bit close, you can see the foot sculpt looks really nice, and the larger claw, we'll just kind of look at the claw from this angle. There we go. We can see the claw now. You can see it's painted with a nice brownish coloration, like a light brown. and it sports a really nice realistic gloss coat, so it shines like a real nail would. And then moving back up here into the stomach region, you can see how it lightens with a very nice light gray, that same similar color that we have here on the underside. Although right here, actually, you can see some really subtle, like light kind of pinks here, which is something PNSO does quite often, which I love when they do that. But again, the scale detail and everything here in the stomach region is still beautiful no matter where you look at it, but is still brought together with that really nice dark wash. And I'm going to rant and rave about that wash the entire time we check out this insanely nice sauropod figure. You can see some more creasing and wrinkling up here. Again, the skin stretching off of the body as this leg is kind of trailing, following along. You can see that that movement is beautifully brought to life in the sculpt of this dinosaur, and almost giving it kind of like a little bit of a saggy skin type of a look right there. Again, super smooth transition from this light gray to the dark gray up here on the back. All of that detail continues to look just insanely vibrant. You can pick up on the spinal column really nicely, running along the back of the dinosaur. More beautiful muscle definition moving down the thigh, even down into the calf. We do have a nice kneecap here in the front of the leg, and that foot sculpt is yet again beautifully sculpted out, and the nails are beautifully painted just like the nail on the front foot. Just generally looking at the leg, you can see the structure of the leg really nicely. As we move back here into the tail, again, lots of really nice creasing and stuff is present in the sculpt, but we continue to move along, and you can really just generally see like the really nice structure and stuff to the tail. As we run out the length of the tail, we have, some nice, very subtle curves, and you can even see a little curve here at the end, but it's not anything drastic or anything crazy, but just a really nice, beautiful, almost majestic looking curve as we run out the length of the tail to that kind of club-like tail that we see on the end of this species of Mamenchisaurus. And then if we take a look at the opposing side, yet again, that head sculpt is phenomenal. You can see the nostrils sculpted out up here at the tip of the snout, the mouth as well as the teeth kind of open partially right there. You can even see the ear sculpted out back there, and the eye yet again is painted to perfection. We've kind of like a nice pinkish type of a color that borders around the eye, and then a nice black eye for the dinosaur. As we move down the course of the neck, you can see more of that really nice detail. Again, the skin texture is just absolutely breathtaking on the sculpt of this dinosaur. You can see the throat here on the underside, and then as we move down the course of the neck, yet again, we have that exceptionally long neck on a Mamenchisaurus, probably the most defining feature of this dinosaur, and you can see how beautiful the paint application looks as well as the sculpt. It all just combines to make the absolute most incredible looking Mamenchisaurus I think I've ever seen. And then as we move down here into the body, like look as I turn it, you can really see how nicely defined the shoulder blade is, as well as just generally like the bone structure moving up here through the leg up into the body. Look at how nice that is. Beautiful sculpting and detailing on the part of PNSO. You could see some more nice creasing here as we move down into the leg. You can see some beautiful detail in that area as well. Really nice elbow yet again on this side. Nice creasing here in the joint of the elbow. And another beautiful foot sculpt. No surprise there. You can really nicely see like the wrist defined as well. Moving back up into the stomach, you can kind of see a little bit of sagging girth here in the stomach region, showing that the dinosaur is definitely well fed, almost has a slight pot belly to him. You can see some nice skin stretching again off of the stomach region back here, but a really smooth transition again between the kind of light gray and the darker gray. The really nice osteoderms and stuff throughout the course of the dinosaur. Tons of creasing right here, and you can see how nicely displayed the movement of that rear leg is in the sculpt. And yet again, the structure in general of the leg looks beautiful. Like you can really pick up on the bone structure underneath the skin in that rear leg. Nice kneecap yet again, beautiful muscle definition, as well as a really nice looking foot sculpt down here. And again, the nails have that really nice gloss coat to it. And then coming back up into the tail, you can kind of see the skin stretching off of the tail. The opposing leg was kind of trailing. This leg is leading a little bit more so you can kind of see the skin stretching more so over here. You can also see the muscle definition on the opposing leg beautifully from this side. Very impressive as far as that goes. Some nice creasing yet again as we lead out the length of that really nice looking and very majestic looking tail of our Mamenchisaurus. Again, if we run through the underside, we do have a cloaca present, as well as some really subtle color variation here on the underside. Again, we have like that, almost like a khaki or like a light pink coloration picking up. You can see it's pretty abundant here, but then it kind of spreads out and runs along the sides of the underside of the stomach, and then makes its way back around here to the chest region. Nice chest muscles as well displayed in the sculpt of this. But this is easily the nicest Mamenchisaurus that I have in my collection, and without question outdoes the previous version from PNSO. As far as a size goes for our Mamenchisaurus, it is certainly one long figure, so you're looking at right around the 19-inch range, or about the 48 centimeter area. And then for a height, if we bring the Mamenchisaurus back, because the neck, the upper part of the neck is definitely the highest point, you were looking at about 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters in height. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Golovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line, in comparison to our absolutely breathtaking PNSO Mamenchisaurus. And you can see without question that although the dinosaur is really quite long and definitely sports a very impressive size, the overall body mass isn't all that crazy. It's not that huge, because you could see it in general is a good bit smaller as far as like body mass compared to the Papo Rex, but even still, it's a nice, very, very long and absolutely gorgeous looking Mamenchisaurus. And for a second size comparison, here is the previously released Mamenchisaurus from PNSO with the newer one, the previous one on the left-hand side, crossing behind the back of the newer one here on the right-hand side. And you can see that they are roughly like right around the same similar size range, but both are based off of different species of Mamenchisaurus, so that gives them some very subtle differences, which are pretty obvious looking at them here from straight ahead, but definitely two gorgeous looking Mamenchisaurus figures from PNSO. So this incredible Mamenchisaurus from PNSO is so much nicer than I expected it to be, and I really did have some pretty high expectations for it, but I don't think I was quite as prepared for how nice the actual paint application looks, because PNSO does include washes at times on their figures, but they don't often include dark washes like we have on this, and I really feel like that's one of the very few things that the original PNSO Mamenchisaurus was kind of lacking. However, they make up for beautifully and quite brilliantly with this newest version, because the wash that they've applied to this is picture perfect and honestly ties the paint scheme and paint job together in such a nice realistic way, at the same time adding in some really nice elements of realism to the figure with that kind of dirty type of a look. And I really think that this is one of the nicest looking in-hand PNSO figures, even though it's not any type of a crazy flashy paint scheme. As far as the overall realism of the paint application, in my opinion, it's probably one of the nicest PNSO figures I have yet to see, and that really says a lot about this figure, because they usually continuously release beautiful paint applications on their figures, but this one just truly impresses me so much. And again, like I had stated earlier, this is a different species of Mamenchisaurus, or at least everything dinosaur was under the impression that it was a different species of Mamenchisaurus. The previous one, I believe, was Mamenchisaurus constructus. Now this one, I honestly don't think I could pronounce the name, so I will just put it up here on the screen because I don't want to butcher it, but it is definitely a different appearance to it as far as the sculpt and appearance to this one in comparison to the previous one. It definitely looks quite different, so the idea of it being a different species makes complete sense to me, and the fact that PNSO has now released two different species of Mamenchisaurus, I think, is super awesome, because it's a very underrepresented species in figure form. We don't have very many of them, and for PNSO to now have released two different species of said dinosaur is just one of the coolest things ever. The sculpt is super highly detailed, sporting a really highly detailed appearance as always, but just generally a really nice pose for the dinosaur, just kind of walking along, looking like the most peaceful giant that I have ever seen. And I really feel like they've captured the overall beauty of not only Mamenchisaurus, but sauropods in general with the entire figure that we see before us, because the sculpt and the positioning of the body just walking along looks so beautiful. The detailing looks so beautiful. The head sculpt in general just looks so nice and peaceful as well. It just really shows off how majestic and gorgeous these animals truly were. And then on top of everything, you have all of those extras that I had shown you at the beginning, which blew my mind just how much stuff PNSO included in this release. And overall, this is an unbelievable value and an unbelievable release from PNSO that just has completely blown my mind here. So if you are interested in picking this up, I will include a link in the description to where you can do that on the PNSO Amazon store, as well as the PNSO Aliexpress store. So make sure you check the links in the description. Head on over there and purchase yourself this fantastic Mamenchisaurus. Trust me, you will not regret that. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.